So which Commander 2019 deck is for you? But there's always one deck that's leading the way, and that is the first one we're going to talk about today, which is Merciless Rage. Faceless Menace might be for you, Primal Genesis or Mystic Intellect, or perhaps you're going to get them all. My name's Matt from TOTALmtg, and welcome to today's video. So each of these decks have 17 new cards, which is great for us Commander players, and they're all built around different mechanics: Morph, Flashback, Populate or Madness. The first one we're looking at here is Merciless Rage, and that is built around the Madness mechanic. Each deck has a Planeswalker in, and more importantly, it has a Soul Ring too. So as we look at our first Precon, it's Anya Falconwrath as our primary commander. This is Merciless Rage, and it's built around Madness. Now in all of these boxes you do get a little leaflet here, gives you some brief commander rules and tells you a little bit how to be playing your deck as well. This is really helpful, and it obviously tells you your secondary commanders as well, which we do have two, which is Chain and Nightmare Adept and Grieven Predator Captain. You get a nice little deck box. It's not the best in the world, but hey, it's for free when you're getting this product, so it is something that you can straight away put your cards in. And then we get to opening him. There's a little card on the back there, and we have a very nice shiny small size. Well, not small size, regular size should we say, because we do have obviously the big oversized foil as well of Anya. You don't get an oversized foil for all three of your potential commanders from the deck. You only get it for your primary commander. So then we look at Anya Falconwrath. Haste, discard, draw a card. Whenever you discard a card, it has Madness. And these foils are absolutely gorgeous, I will say. Chainer seems a very nice card, and Grieven Predator Captain does as well. Some lovely stats on these cards. Now you get these double-sided tokens with every deck as well. Zombies on this one flips over as well to a different kind of zombie. They're really cool, and you get a fair amount of them as well. Maya in Misery, the first ever black enchantment removal, is in this deck as well. That is super, super cool. And basically what you'll be doing with this deck, if you like, this is for new players, might be better because it's got just two colours. It's the colours of Rakdos, which is black and red, and the whole deck is obviously based around Madness. Madness costs, you discard this card, discard it into exile, then if you do, you may play that card. So it's all about discarding the card and then playing potentially spells for cheaper than they should have been. Sometimes it may be, you may get a benefit from doing this. This whole deck is about discarding and then playing your opponent and actually smashing them with damage. With this Madness mechanic as well, there's definitely ways that you can upgrade the deck. So if you want to see any upgrades, let me know and I will put that in future videos as well. But if you want to play in these colours and these are your favourite colours, this is what you want to be playing with. Krurk, Son of Yorgoth cannot be your commander, but it is a great, great card and can definitely be built around if you want to take some of these legendary creatures that aren't actually viable to be commanders for the deck, because, the deck wants to stay red and black, but cards like that are very good to use. So you can see the amount of rares that you actually do get in a pack as well. These, you get abundance of rares. Some nice utility lands, mythics as well. Geth, Lord of the Vault, is one of the most expensive cards that has come from these sets, and this is why it probably makes Merciless Rage one of the most expensive ones. Ob Nicholas is a lovely little Planeswalker as well. Soul of Innistrad is a cool card. This deck is really good, and it has lots of fun interactions with it as well. In total, the deck obviously has one main primary commander, one Planeswalker, 28 creatures, 12 sorceries, 4 instants, 8 artifacts, 6 enchantments, and it comes with 40 lands. There will be full deck lists below for all of these. They've been out for a while, but I wasn't going to go through every single card because that would just take forever. But Squee Goblin Nabob there, Nabob, that's probably the way to say it, is a great card and is definitely on theme with this deck. Warstorm Surge is ways that you can definitely win the game, build around that card. Key to the City is another sweet card, and of course Solemn Simulacrum is a great EDH staple. You get a few lands in this as well. Exotic Orchid, you see there. Gaia Reach Sanitarium. But other than that, the deck is really cool. And I think if you want to pick up a nice Rakdos deck, and maybe, look how beautiful these foils are. They're really, really nice. And you can play this. Anya is for me probably the best in the deck, but I love it. So now we have Faceless Menace. It's the Sultai coloured commander Precon with Kadena Slinking Sorcerer as your commander. Yeah, again, we get a lovely deck box in this, and all 4 of the deck boxes are different colours as well. And the secondary commanders for Kadena are Rayami, First of the Fallen, and Volrath, the Shape Stealer. This deck is all about Morph. Morph, Megamorph, really fun mechanic that we did have in Standard going back, not too long ago. I remember the cards like Death Miss Raptor, I used to play them. A great 3/3 with Death Touch that would come in, you can Megamorph it for 5 mana. It was a really cool card. But yet again, I will say, just look at how nice these foils are. And I really do hope that they stand up and don't bend too much like we've had in the past. Rayami looks a very fun card to build around indeed. And Volrath is none too shabby either. But I think personally I do prefer the other 2 commanders from this. But Kadena's definitely seems fun to me as well. Nice little sapling tokens you get with these, and like I said, they are both double-sided as well, and this flips to the Manifest card, which is ready for all your morphs. Mire in Misery is printed in this as well, so you're going to get that really cool black removal for enchantment, and it has some good modern cards, and good commander staples that you can see as well. Worldbender is a nice card, Reality Shift there was a very nice pull, and I do like the morph. You cast a card face down, it becomes a 2/2 creature, and then you have to pay 3 to flip it over. This deck has some staples in land ramp as well. Cultivate, Explore and Farseek are very nice cards, and it will definitely ramp you out because some of the morph costs are quite expensive, as you'll see later on, and you will need a lot of mana on the field, and this is Sultai. So Vraska is our Planeswalker there, and this one gets the reprint of Seedborn Muse, which is absolutely amazing. Other commanders to build around, but not your primary or your secondary. Grismold is another thing. You can pull some of these cards out like that and actually build separate decks out of them, which I think is pretty nice as well, because they're not the full Sultai colours, so you won't be able to obviously use them as commanders for these actual decks, but pulling them out and building for other decks seems really cool. Now, like all the other decks, you get a plethora of rares and mythics in there. Absolutely loads. Gift of Doom is the first ever morph as an enchantment. This is cool personified. I love this, getting Death Touch and everything like that. It seems really, really fun. Road Return there, Pendant, Scroll of Fate, Ghastly Conscription, I remember playing that in Standard, or trying to. Hooded Hydra. You'll be morphing stuff out here, and it's really good because Mega Morph means they'll be coming over with a counter, and the Morph means, but they're coming in with a counter, and opponents will never know what you're actually playing. Now, of course, if it's in the deck list, they might have a clue. Hex there is a very nice card as well. Getting rid of potentially 6 creatures, but 6 creatures of your choice, and you're not wiping a board, which is really good about that card as well. We get some very nice rares there. Stronic Resonator is a cool card, and you can do shenanigans with that as well. And what's good about this deck is you get quite a few lands here. You get Exotic Orchid, you can see. Llanowar Waste is a nice card, and Shrine to ramp up as well. Sunken Hollow is a cool card, and Thespian Sage is a really good utility land. So next up on the list is our Naya deck. It's Primal Genesis, and Gired, one of the most talked about commanders, is our commander of choice. And we have secondary commanders there in Atla and Marisi. And Marisi for me is definitely one of my, it seems to me one kind of commander that I want to build around. It seems fun. There's Atla. Everyone's going to be wanting to build those egg decks because that's what people have been talking about on social media. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful foil. But this is a card, a 5/4 for 4. Your opponent can't cast spells during your combat. That is a deck for me all over. So what else do you get in this deck as well? You obviously get the tokens. You get a zombie Manticore in this that flips over into a big 5/5 dragon. This theme deck is populate. So you're going to be getting these tokens onto the battlefield and just keep multiplying them. That's what you want to do with this deck. There'll be some really cool cards that you can add to enhance this deck as well. Like I said before, if you want to see that sort of deck tech as well, put it in the comments below, and then I will be able to do some enhanced decks and basically do some upgrades for all of these commander decks. Populate, creature you control, gain indestructible. There's so many, there's so many good cards for this deck. Lightning Greaves, Soul Ring, very strong commander staples that you get in this pack as well. And of course, another plethora of rares and mythics. Pumping up your creatures is what you want to do. You'll be making loads of tokens, populating everything. Whenever you cast a spell, populate. you can see what the deck's all about. It's about amassing a huge army. They've got some nice cards in here. Full Flowering is called Populate X times. Here we have Owen Frostfang that I think is so good. Attacking creatures have Death Touch, and whenever a creature you control does combat damage, you draw a card. That is super strong. Here's another commander that you'd be able to take out of the deck and maybe build around as well in Tangrangreff. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Some old standard favourites of mine, Dragon Outcast, Wingmate there, and Feldon of the Third Path, which was in a previous precon. And you get Garruk Primal Hunter, which is nice, triple green, makes tokens, populate, that's what you want to be doing in this deck. And then some pump effects, and Trostani is a nice card. Desolated Twin, strange one for me, but it does make a token, you know, and it's a 10/10, but it might be able to find something a little bit better than that, but some people may love it, so they may keep it in. You got some other res here. Fresh Meat, good removal in green. Create a 3/3 beast as well. Rampaging Balos. Second Harvest, what a fun card. For each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. So when you're populating, you're just going to be making more. And it even has a Thragtusk in this deck as well, which is one of my favourite modern cards. A Mimic Vat, nice card as well. And then you do get some really cool lands in this deck as well. Cinderglade there, Gargoyle Castle. A lot of different cards, you know, Sungrass Prairie is a nice addition, and then a few basics as well. But all in all, I think, you know, the Gearhead deck is a deck that people will be picking up, and it's, you know, pick it up just for the foils alone. Look it, they're beautiful. Get them in there and just shine them away. So our final precon deck is Mystic Intellect in the colours of Jeskai. Primary commander, as you can see there, Servine, the Chronoclasm, and you get some secondary commanders as well. Of course, you get 3 commanders potentially in every single one of these decks. And the secondary commanders are Elsha of the Infinite and Precon Sky Rampart. Now this, I did say the previous deck was one of my favourites, but being the type of player I am and being a blue player, Flashback for me is definitely something that I want to be playing. So Servine, obviously Elsha and Precon are cards that I'm going to find fun to play with. Has a prowess theme there as well. You may cast a top card of your life. It's a non-creature. Now, I love playing non-creature spells in my other formats, and I do like it in Commander as well. Some people will find this deck a little bit tedious than others, I feel. It hasn't got many creatures. A lot of people do like playing creature stompy decks, and especially when you're buying your first Commander. We also have the tokens here, like the others, a Spirit token that flips over into a lovely, beautiful art of this 1/1 human as well. Now, this deck only has 19 creatures, 13 sorceries, 15 instants, because it's got more spells in this one, 7 artifacts, 4 enchantments, and it has a 40 land as well. And you do get a few different lands in this one, which is, you know, it's just a nice addition to this deck. We've got a few artifacts there. Ghostly Prison, modern staple. Love it. Creatures can't attack you. This, you know, this is the kind of deck that I want to play. Prevent all damage, flashback in stuff. You don't want anyone attacking your graveyard, which is what you probably have to do to protect yourself when you're playing this deck. Because flashback works when it all goes in the graveyard, you'll be able to flash it back. But if they're not in the graveyard, you're not going to get the value. Some nice spells here like Factor Fission, Mystic Revival, Una's Grace you can see there as well. There's some nice cards in this deck. And it's got some cards that, you know, literally like think twice there that you're playing modern. Burning Vengeance as well is a great card for this deck to be built around. The old faithless looting that everyone wants banned in modern, you get one in this commander deck. Ral Zarek is your Planeswalker of choice, which I think is a good choice for this deck indeed. And like all the other decks as well, you get an array of rares and mythics, and they really do offer some value in these decks these years. And I think, you know, depending on which colour, maybe you've got a favourite colour that you want to play, and that will help you go along as you're picking your choice of whether it's Faithless Menace, Mystic Intellect, Primal Genesis, or perhaps you want to go for the double coloured one, which is the only one, which is Merciless Rage. Gerard, very highly thought of this, and a definite card that you can pull out and build a deck around as well. And I've heard a lot of people say that Gerard is a very fun card. Sun Titan, great card, putting it in with a few little weenies in there. And of course, Flashback is what his deck is all about. And you can see some of the costs are high in Flashback, but that is what it is. You're going to have to get maybe some more counter spells in there. Like I said, protect your graveyard. Spamming tokens with Towerand as well is another way to go with this deck. Maybe putting in more sorceries and instants. But as is, the deck is obviously, like the rest of them, ready to play. You get some nice lands, Prairie Stream there, but mainly the lands here weren't the rare ones. So these are the 4 Precon Commander decks. What would be your choice? As you can see, beautiful foils here, Anja, Kadena, Savine and Gired. I think, you know, personally for me, my favourite at the moment, now I've not played with them all at the moment, but I like Mystic Intellect just because I like the colours of Jeskai and I like one of the other commanders as well. I really like, you know, want to build around some of them and I think it's fun. Obviously, Merciless Rage is a little bit more expensive because it has a couple of expensive cards in there. We did get Geth reprinted for that deck as well. But it does depend which mechanic you want to play and which one you must most likely find fun to play. Especially if you're a new player to Commander and this is your first time buying one of these Precons. They're all pretty much, they try to, you know, it's not like gone years where we used to have one that was really highly overpowered. I don't see that in these decks. Merciless Rage potentially may be more consistent just because it's 2 colours rather than 3. But I still think in Commander 3 colours is easily viable. And the decks, you know, you're not going to really struggle too much. But maybe you love playing Rakdos and like that kind of madness theme. So I really hope you've enjoyed the video today. Thanks again to Wizards for sending me these products. And if you want to see upgraded decks for these, please let me know. I will put those videos out as well. If it's something you want to see, is, you know, you want to see my idea of upgrading. There's obviously a lot of people that have been doing that as well. But if you want to see my view, let me know in the comments. And I will get to be making them videos as well. So thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It really does help out. And liking the video. And I will see you very soon.